Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Friday Night Movie Night here on the Basement Show with Mr. Knast. I am Mr. Knast. Joining us tonight is Mr. Ron.
Hey, everybody.
Nice to see you, Ron. I pushed back the start time a couple minutes because we thought the Eagles had a pick coming up because me and Ron are both very big sports fans, but the Eagles did typical Eagles fashion. They traded back a couple picks, so I said, why not just start the show? And as the picks come in for the Eagles, I can either try to pull up the second screen so me and Ron can get the initial reaction, or I can just tell people what it is. So either or is fine with me, but we're here. It's Friday night. Friday night is our movie night segment. We talk about different movies. And tonight I figured we would touch base on the sequels of movies that should have been made, were mediocre, or shouldn't have been made at all. So, because there is a bunch.
And there's a bunch in both of those columns.
Yes.
That's for darn sure.
So if you're just popping in the chat, make sure you say good evening. We got Mr. Jack in the chat already. Good evening, Jack. But, yeah. So where would we like to start with this list?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Pick a spot.
All right. Well, I'd probably say the most successful trilogy of movies have to be Back to the Future. Parts 1, 2, and 3. Or would you disagree?
Not using what criteria? I mean, honestly, if you're looking purely at box office, I would say definitely no. The funny thing about the Back to the Future series, though, is that actually they shot 2 and 3 at the same time. So they actually, when they did production for number 2, they also did number 3 at the same time. And then they held one for a little bit before they released the third one.
That kind of makes sense because if you watch 2 and 3, they kind of pick up right where each other left off.
Yep.
So, I mean, that kind of makes sense now that you say that. So, kind of interesting that you have that concept.
Yeah, I mean, they had all the locations, they had all the sets built and everything else. So, why not?
True. I mean, it makes you wonder, like, did it all count as one budget for those 2 movies, or is it still 2 separate budgets, you think?
They listed it as 2 separate budgets. I mean, So they each film had its own accounting,
okay.
Its own separate tracking, because I think 2 most definitely did better than 3. 3 was pretty much approaching jump the shark territory.
Now, what do you mean by jump the shark? I've never heard that expression.
Jump the shark is a terminology for. It's usually used for a television show, but it can be used for a movie series as well. And basically what it's based on, it was coined for an episode of Happy Days.
Okay.
Actually, that happened in one of the latter seasons where they traveled to I think it was California, probably. I think it was California. Mm-hmm. And Fonzie actually, on water skis, jumped a shark. And then they said that from that point forward, the series is toast. If they have to resort to something like that, then the series is pretty much done. So that's where they coined the phrase "jump the shark."
Gotcha. I had never heard that saying before, so who better to ask than you? I would have said some people were like, okay, what's that mean? I have no idea.
Yep.
So I'm glad I have someone like you who can help me explain it and understand it.
Yep. Yeah, no problem.
So, since my take on the most, I guess, richest franchise in history was not Back to the Future, in your eyes, I'm sure you know the right answer. What would it be?
Star Wars.
I should have known. I should have known.
Yeah.
Anyone who knows me, knows the show by now, knows I have yet to see any of the Star Wars movies. I am slacking in that department majorly.
The Force is not strong with that one.
So when people say, this guy, when people
This
say,
guy.
"May the Force be with you," I just put my hands up and walk away. They're like, "Why are you walking away?" I've never seen Star Wars. I get a bunch of fun grief for it, but at the same time, people are like, "How have you never watched Star Wars?"
Well, if you really want to piss them off, when they say that to you, just go, live long and prosper, because you can't be a Star Wars fan and a Star Trek fan. You have to be one or the other. There's like a very, very conflicted dynamic between those two fan groups.
I can't do it with my fingers on. Yeah, maybe. Does that work?
That's close enough. You get the basic idea, you know?
Jack says he loves Star Wars, and next week is May 4th. Yes, it is May. Next Thursday is May 4th, and then the following day, May 5th, is Cinco de Mayo. That is actually one of our hostess' birthday.
Right. May 4th is Star Wars Day. That would be a perfect time for you to watch.
Next Thursday.
May the 4th be with you.
I'm trying to think of my work schedule next week. Now you put me on the spot. I think I got plans that day.
Okay.
I will get around to it eventually. I promise everybody who doesn't like the fact that I've never seen a Star Wars movie. If you don't know, I was traumatized as a kid. And I hold that very strongly to this day. So, I mean, it's not an excuse not to like a franchise 36 years later. I always made myself a year older with that comment. But I will get around to it. I have been told I have to watch it. My best friends insist on it. So when the time comes, I will watch it. I promise. Because for a second there, I thought you were going to say that Rocky was another highly acclaimed series. I mean...
Oh, it definitely was a very highly acclaimed series, and it... but again, now, let me qualify by saying the Creed movies are not considered sequels to Rocky.
No, 1 through 5.
That's a separate story.
Correct.
So when you're talking Rocky, there were 5 Rockies.
Yep.
And going in order, you know, you could pretty much go. There's a lot of debate. I mean, myself personally, I thought Drago was a great character, so I liked 4. I liked Mr. T in the third one, Clubber Lang. The second one was a good story. I mean, they did a great job of telling the story, honestly, and the characters were the characters. But yeah, I mean, Drago, Dolph Lundgren, Brigitte Nielsen as his wife and manager. Definitely a great portrayal there. And then Clubber Lang in the third one.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go along with Mr. T.
Mr.
Hulk Hogan makes an appearance in the second one.
Yes, as Thunderlips.
Thunderlips, yep. I mean, then an actual real boxer, Tommy Jones, makes the appearance in the 5th one.
Tommy Morrison,
sorry.
He was an ex-heavyweight champion, actually.
And then 4, you have Drago. Then 1, you just have Carl Weathers playing Apollo Creed.
Yes.
Which, over the course of the first 3 movies, you see them build a very close-knit love-hate relationship in the beginning, but then they become best of friends before, unfortunately, Apollo dies in the 4th one. If I ruined it for anybody, I apologize.
And remember, it's all in the hips. It's all in the hips.
But I mean, I personally think I love the 4th one. The whole training montage that they put together in that movie, was absolutely epic.
Yep.
Like the
training in Siberia in the snow.
Yes, and Hearts on Fire by James Cafferty will always be one of my favorite movie scores ever, all time.
Nice.
I mean,
yeah, Jack, Eye of the Tiger. Great song. Yep. And that was Frank Stallone. That was Sylvester Stallone's brother who recorded that.
Interesting. But
So,
so
yes.
he recorded it, but Survivor got the credit for the song.
Actually, Frank Stallone, I believe that Frank Stallone wrote it.
Okay. I mean, out of the 5 movies, which movie do you think had? Oh, you probably already know. Which movie had the biggest success in the box office?
Wow. Uh,
Or
I don't
what?
know officially for sure. I mean, I would guess if you prorated it for uh, inflation, probably the first one, but maybe not. I mean, I honestly, I'd have to look it up.
I would. I mean, I would too. I mean, so I mean, I can
But the
pull it up.
first one did extremely well.
Yeah, I mean, because it was new, people were gravitating it to because it was shot all in Philly around the bicentennial year, so people were
Uh, not exactly true.
no.
Not exactly true.
Oh,
There were a lot of scenes that were shot in Philly. When you see the scenes, the fight scenes that says it's the Spectrum, it is not the Spectrum. It is an arena in California.
of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? Thanks for getting my hopes up. Whoever produced that movie. I mean, you're making me think that it's a Philly-born movie now to find out the truth. I
Yep,
mean,
and they call it they portrayed it as the Spectrum, but it was not the Spectrum.
wow. So, let me guess. The L.A. Forum.
I don't remember which arena they used, but actually the number one box office in the Rocky series was Rocky 4. Made 127.8.
Wow.
Rocky 3 made 124.1.
Okay.
The original Rocky made 117.2.
So Rocky 4 wins, huh?
But I mean, if you took Rocky 1 and you adjusted it for the ticket prices, it probably would have been the highest,
Interesting.
I would think, or it'd be close.
So I can't have audio, but we're gonna hold this up anyway. I'm gonna be kind of risky. Here is the first of the 2 Eagles picks. I
Okay.
mean, for some reason they show Hendra Hooker from Tennessee in the green room, so hopefully that's not the pick. I hope it's not, but we shall see. I mean, there's no audio, so I shouldn't get flagged for this. We'll see.
Yep.
But I know me and you are both big Giant sports fans, so it's
Yep.
worth the gamble. And who's just announcing the pick? I have no idea. Mr. Trent Cole.
Trent Cole.
So that makes me think it's defense. But I've been wrong before.
Defensive tackle, another defensive player.
Wow. Very interesting. Another SEC player. Too.
Another SEC player, yeah.
And then now they're picking back to back. I like this.
Oh, they're back to back.
Yep.
Wow.
So let's see. And this one is
Safety.
Wow.
Sidney Brown, yeah. That's a good pick.
Wow. I'm shocked that they went back to back defense. I mean, we've been saying on Monday nights that they need offensive linemen.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, 2 classy picks, I guess.
Was he a D tackle or an offensive tackle?
Steen looks like it's an offensive tackle.
The offensive tackle, right.
So why they announce D tackle?
I don't know. They must have mistyped it.
Maybe, but yeah, looking at the highlights they're showing, it's definitely him as offensive tackle.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Okay, well now I feel a little bit better.
Yep.
Yeah, that's an O, not a D. I'm looking at it closely now.
Yeah.
But a lot of SEC power in that draft so far for Philly.
Yeah, man.
Something they never drafted before, so now the fact that they're going that way kind of makes me feel a little bit better.
It's that dog mentality.
Yeah. But we won't talk about sports really. We have to draft on Monday night. I mean,
Yes,
I know it's
absolutely.
fresh on our minds because me and Ron are both sports fans, but
Back
uh,
to Rocky.
that's a Rocky. Well, it's just ironic that you have Philly making back-to-back picks like that. You don't see
Yep.
that often.
Yeah.
So that's
True.
why I figured I'd pull it up and we can watch it together. That way we can get
Definitely.
that initial shocking awe factor.
Absolutely true.
So, all right. So we touched on Rocky. I mean,
Yep.
I could see
Back to the
Rocky.
Future, Rocky.
Um, what else do we have?
We
Now,
we're not going to talk about Star Wars because you're not familiar.
Okay, now this next one that I had maybe thought about mentioning, I know 1 and 2 go hand in hand, but the third one, not so much.
Okay.
The Major League Series.
Okay.
Because the first two, other than one character change, you have basically the same cast.
Right.
They swap out Wesley Snipes for Omar Epps, who, in my opinion, look almost identical anyway.
Yeah.
But then you add the third one about what 7, 8 years later with Major League 3 back to the minors. I just watched today again,
Right.
where you have some of the original cast with Serrano and Tanaka. That's about it. I mean, sure.
Right now, wasn't that direct to video? I don't think that actually was in the box office.
It did do some box office sales. I think they said it made 3.5 million.
Yeah, so they just released it in a couple theaters, and then it went direct to video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely wasn't a hit like the other ones,
No.
but I mean, it's like really hard to say it counts as a sequel because, again, you don't have the whole main premise of it.
Yeah.
But
That's true.
the first and second Major League movies I thought were really good. I mean, a lot of people
Absolutely.
don't like them, but they almost have the same type of story to them. They're about the Cleveland Indians, underdog team that come from nowhere to win it. So,
Well, I mean, the other thing about Major League is that Charlie Sheen was pretty impressive pitcher. Even though he didn't really play ball in high school or anything, they said he was throwing like 80-mile-an-hour fastballs.
wow,
So a lot of what you see on the screen with him is actually him.
that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So they peppered in some pro ball players into some of the roles. Mixed in through the first couple movies.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that because you see like the structure of certain scenes, how they're done, and all that. I mean,
Yeah.
if they're regular actors, you don't see like the finesse of some of the baseball players that you see in those movies.
Right.
So I mean,
I'm thinking of one in particular, and I need to find out something real quick.
all right, I'm working on finding a list myself. Here we go. Nope, not that one. I mean, I could use that, but I won't. 16. Alright, I'll walk off something. I'm just trying to find a list of different sequels that we can touch base on. And
Yeah. Okay.
so, I think I found one I can use.
Okay.
But I'll let you finish what the point you were trying to make before you move
Yeah.
on. So.
Oh, okay. That's what I was looking for. Steve Yeager, who played for the Dodgers, who was a catcher,
Okay.
actually plays in the first movie the pitcher, the Duke, the reliever,
Yeah.
the guy with the mustache. That's Steve Yeager.
Interesting.
And he was actually Pete Vukovich, who was actually on the coaching staff of the Phillies at one time, also played in the first Major League.
I never knew that.
Yep.
I'm actually going to see if I can find the whole cast list. So, let's see. Full cast. Where we at? Indians player. I mean, they had a lot, but
Yeah.
Yankees player. Sean Cooney. That's not gonna help me. I mean, yeah. I mean, the amount of extras they needed for this movie, I'm sure, is astronomical because you have
Yeah.
to fill all these major league teams.
Yeah, and Yeager was the one of the technical advisors for the baseball scenes and stuff. So that's why he got to be in the movie, because he was actually being paid as an advisor.
Interesting. I mean, yeah, that's why I love talking movies with you because I learned so much. I don't know, or it sparks that knowledge in my head. Okay, I remember seeing something like that, like down like later down the road.
Yep.
But when you actually look at the three movies, there's only three players, well, two players and one special announcer who appear in all three. You have Dennis Haysbert as Pedro Serrano in all three.
Right.
Tanaka, whatever his last name, plays Taka in all three.
Mm-hmm.
And the famous Bob Uecker,
Harry Doyle.
who to this, that's the only reason I probably wanted to watch the third one again today, because he just cracks me up. Because this one, he's not like that complete drunken announcer that he was in the first two, and now he's just a chill back type of guy who's quit drinking just to announce baseball games.
There you go.
But I would love to meet someone like Bob Uecker in life and just shake his hand and say, just a bit outside.
Do you know what position Bob Uecker played?
Without looking, no.
He was a catcher.
No.
Know what team he played for?
Let me guess.
Philadelphia Phillies.
No, I'm gonna cheat now and pull up his biography. So.
Yep.
Let's see. I mean, I know he still works for the Milwaukee Brewers to this day.
Correct.
Which is an absolutely incredible thing.
Yep.
Let's see. Honors, acting role. I don't want to say his baseball career though. There you go. There you go. Early life and playing career. You were watching the Milwaukee Brewers. Major League Baseball. Lucho also played for the St. Louis Cardinals and was a member of the 1964 World Series Championship Club and the Philadelphia Phillies before returning to the Braves, who then moved to Atlanta. His 6-year Major League career conducted in 1967.
Yep.
Perhaps the biggest highlight of Bob Uecker's career was when he hit a home run off Hall of Famer Sandy Koufax. That's a heck of an honor.
Yeah, it is.
So I guess he would start with the Milwaukee Braves when they were in Milwaukee, then went to St. Louis, Philly, then Atlanta, part of their career.
Right.
So almost like he went full circle.
Yeah. Because the Milwaukee Braves did become the Atlanta Braves.
That's what this article has said.
Yep.
His MLB statistics: he had a 200 batting average, 14 career home runs, and 74 career RBIs. I mean, for what?
6 years?
6 years, that's decent. I mean, it's nothing to put Hall of Fame worthy in.
No.
But he did get into the Hall of Fame later in his life as
an announcer.
As the announcer, yes.
Yep. There you go.
And he is now 89 years old.
And still working.
That's incredible. That's what you say someone has a passion for the game.
Yep. Like a guy like Phil Rizzuto, who did it well longer than most. Harry Carey.
Harry Carey. I mean, I think, honestly, if he was still alive, Harry Carey might still have some type of role with the Phillies organization, but unfortunately, we lost Harry, I think they said 17 years ago already.
Yeah. No, it's Harry Callis. I mean, Harry Carey from the Cubs.
Okay, I got the two mixed up. You're right.
Yeah, I do that. I do the same thing sometimes. As soon as I hear Harry, I automatically go to Harry Callis.
Yeah.
Because that's Harry to me, you know?
Sure. Let's see. The best sequels. I pull up IMDb. So the next one we can touch base about, if you want,
Okay.
is the Terminator series.
Okay. Yep.
I mean, you have the original Terminator, 1984.
Yep.
Oh no, 87, I think.
Okay.
And then the second one, T2 Judgment Day, which, if you ask me, is 10 times better. Better than 2 by far.
Yes. Special effects were amazing in Judgment Day. They did some things that nobody had ever done before with the I forget the model number of the other robot.
T3000?
Yes, with the cop.
Robert Patrick.
Robert Patrick, yes.
In the second one. I don't know about the first one, but...
Yeah. No, Robert Patrick definitely is in the second one.
Yes, for sure. I mean, that, and you obviously got to think that it's going to have some type of success with James Cameron running the show also.
This is true. This is true.
Back then put together quite a few good movies, and T2 is definitely probably up there.
I would say.
I mean, a lot of high action sequence scenes. You have, like you said, the special effects were out of this world, with certain scenes where, like, the cop gets shot or like he gets melted down in the liquid. Like,
yeah, that was pretty cool.
Then the T2, I have some of the movie scores actually on my movie score playlist, like the whole escape from Cyborg, like when they're in that office building, like the whole SWAT team shows up, like to try and get out. That scene again, I love that movie score, so I have it on my playlist.
Nice.
A lot of high energy and stuff like that. So, but you had Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Hamilton, in the first one and second one. Then Edward Furlong comes along in the second one. He's made in the first one, but he doesn't make that appearance. Yeah, I mean, and then they got kind of cheesy, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I mean, Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines, yeah, hit or miss, and you have Genesis and the other one that weren't needed at all. I think that they should have stopped after the second one, if you ask me.
Jump the shark.
Yeah, like you said earlier, jump the shark. But they figure as long as they can get Arnold to keep doing these movies, people would gravitate to him.
Yes.
And I don't think they did. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, you're right. They weren't nearly as commercially successful.
So the next
but if Arnold comes out and says, "Hey, I'm willing to do it," then they're probably going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see them making any more. I mean, I'd be shocked if they did.
Nah.
But unless somebody reboots the franchise like we have seen in the past, I think Terminator is pretty much extinguished at this point. But the next one that you could talk about has at least 3 good movies, and then it's debatable about 4 and 5, and that is the Die Hard series.
Okay.
With Bruce Willis starring in basically all 5, but then he has a different emissary in all 5 of these movies as well.
Right.
I mean, Die Hard go ahead, but what?
But who can beat Hans in the first one?
Oh,
Hans Gruber.
Alan Rickman. No one can.
No. One of the greatest movie villains in an action film of all time.
Oh, easily, hands down. I mean, but as a runner-up close second, I would have to give some type of credit to Jeremy Irons in the third one.
Yeah, yeah.
Who played, oddly enough, Hans' brother.
Yes.
Which you don't really, like, the more the movie goes on, you kind of get the pieces together, but they don't look alike. I don't see how they could be brothers, but that's Hollywood for you.
Yep.
Now, which one out of the first 3 would you say is your favorite?
I'd say the first one.
I'm gonna say the second one. I like the airport.
I like
one.
the second one too. I mean, I like them both, but I think the like I said, Hans Gruber.
Yeah.
Alan Rickman just did it Yeah, that put me over the top for that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's hit or miss. Both scenes are both movies are really iconic. I think people will relate more to the first one than the rest of the series because you have the more quotable quotes, action sequences, like you said, the best villain
Hmm.
in a lot of people's minds was Hans Gruber. Um, but Bruce Willis, I think he does great in all of them.
Yeah, yeah. His character perfect.
Yeah, but then like it's just weird. Like his alliances go a different way in each one. Like the first two, he kind of does it independently, but then the third one they add someone like Samuel L. Jackson to the party to
Yeah,
help Bruce Willis. And then the fourth one, he's protecting that kid Justin Long from the
yeah,
cybersecurity. And
yeah.
then the fifth one, it's back to just being Bruce Willis over in Russia this time.
Justin Long's third most impressive performance.
Third, okay. I mean, can I know his first two in your eyes?
Number one, Dodgeball.
Okay.
Justin in Dodgeball.
Yep.
And secondly, the voice of Alvin in Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Wow, so you're going to voiceover as one of his better roles. Okay, I mean, so then you
Yeah.
have Die Hard. So I guess you don't like the movie Accept It.
I've seen scenes from it. I don't think I actually ever watched it all the way through,
Okay.
but I know the basic premise.
Yeah, and then you have him in the movie Waiting, which is a very bizarre movie. We don't have to talk about
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
but
That's the Ryan Reynolds one, right?
yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he really hasn't done many movies since. I mean, he has cameos, but he's not
Yeah.
like the main lead role anymore.
Right.
So I mean, I don't think he ever really was, except for like the Die Hard movie, the voiceover, and then Dodgeball. He has that smaller role, but an important role.
Yes.
But Dodgeball is a funny movie. But
Yeah. Dodgeball's a great movie. That's one I wish they made a sequel to.
never say never. I mean, there is. I'm not saying there's talks about a sequel. Obviously, I'm not looking at that type of
There
list.
actually was at one point talks of a sequel. Ben Stiller and Christine Taylor both agreed to do it.
Let me guess. Vince Vaughn didn't it.
I don't know if they ever got to that stage, but I know that there was talk with Ben Stiller and Christine Taylor when they were married, um, that they were going to work on a script for a second one.
Now, could you see that movie doing it as good as the first one, or do you think it would be a flop?
I'd watch it.
Oh, I would too. I'm sure it would be comedic genius, especially if you had
The
Ben
first one
Stiller.
really didn't do much at the box office at all. I mean, it found its life on video and then you know on streaming and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, so that's what you would. I mean, you can't really consider that a cult classic at that point, but
Yeah. But I mean, if Netflix or one of these other streaming companies, said, "Hey, we're going to make another dodgeball," I think they would do it.
I would be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
I would want.
all these channels are dying for content. So
Oh yeah, well they're all competing against each other now. Now you have Netflix, Hulu, Paramount Plus, Apple
yep,
TV, Prime Video.
yep.
I mean,
Roku.
it's just crazy.
Roku did the Weird Al story.
Really?
Yeah, with Daniel Radcliffe playing Weird Al Yankovic.
I might have to check that out.
It's actually really, really good. Jack Black's in it too.
And it's on the Roku channel.
Yes,
Because I
yes.
have all Roku TVs in my house, so I have to check
And
it out.
Rain Wilson as Dr. Demento.
Interesting.
Definitely worth a check it out.
All right, I will do that. What's
Only
it?
on Roku.
And what's it called again, real quick?
It's called Weird,
Weird.
the
Okay.
the Al Yankovic story.
Weird. Got it. I will look that one up tonight.
Yep.
So the next one on this list would be the Lethal Weapon series.
Okay.
And they say, according to this list, the best one on IMDb is Lethal Weapon 2.
Yes. Agreed.
Easy enough. I mean, I would say the second one is definitely my favorite. I would go probably 2, 1, 4, 3 as my order.
Okay.
I don't know about you. I mean, a lot of people.
2-1. 2-1, definitely the top two.
And then four, and then 3 as my.
Okay. Yeah, I mean they'd be 3A and 3B for me.
I mean, they were both hit or miss. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Pretty
the
much.
first two were absolutely great.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
out of the two of them, I mean, 2 and 1 you can quote the most parts of those movies. I mean, the second one you get introduced to Joe Pesci's character, which in my eyes is one of the funnier characters in the series. But Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, and then Rene Russo's in 2 and 3 and 4.
Hmm.
But the main tactical hold together glue type thing was Mel Gibson and Danny Glover in all these movies.
For sure.
And that's why I'm kind of curious to see how they do number 5. Because what's Roger Murtaugh's favorite quote in those movies?
I'm getting too old for this shit.
And then I'll just talk if they're doing a 5th one.
And he literally is too old for that shit.
Yeah, so how do you do a 5th movie with those two in it? Because they're both getting older.
You have their sons both be on the force, and they do like a cameo-ish type role or a mentor type role, and the young guys do all the legwork.
I mean, it would be definitely really interesting to see.
Yeah.
Because Mel Gibson is apparently starring in the movie and directing the movie. Because Richard Donner, who unfortunately passed away a couple years back,
Right.
met with Mel before his passing and said, "Here's my script for Lethal Weapon 5. The movie is yours. I want you to direct it for me."
Nice.
I mean, so I think that's the only reason they're doing it is Mel Gibson wants to fulfill a final wish.
Yeah.
Because this movie is one of the many movies that helped Mel Gibson take off, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. You'd have to say.
I mean, he's been in a lot. He admit he's a very popular actor, but I think Lethal Weapon helped get his name out there.
You know, one movie that was a little underrated that a lot of people thought was hokey as a Mel Gibson movie, and it was based on an old TV series,
Okay.
and I really liked it, was Maverick.
I think I've heard of it. I don't think I've ever watched the movie.
I thought that Maverick was great. Plus the fact that they used James Garner, who played the original Maverick, as he actually appeared in the movie.
Interesting. I mean, definitely something I should check out.
Yeah, Jodie Foster's in it too.
Hey, you can't go wrong with Mrs. Foster. So,
Yep.
I mean, she's in another one that has worked her way up the ranks a little bit. She's starting to love.
Jodie Foster in a bustier. I'm in.
Sounds good to me, but yeah, I mean, just finish up on Lethal Weapon. I mean, 2 and 1, hands down. I mean, how can I ask this without being rude? You swap the order. Would you make the second one number 1 and number 1 number 2, or do you keep it the same?
I thought that 2 was better.
Okay.
I agree with you.
So I mean, you just have that more action sequence in the second one than you do the first one. The first one you just basically get that backstory. I mean, don't get me wrong, Gary Busey as Joshua in the first one was great.
Right.
And then like the whole drugs and all that stuff type of action pack was good. But then the second one they just blew it away with the whole South African consulate and all that fun stuff.
Right. Because they don't have to work so hard in establishing the characters. In the second one, they could just open it up so there's a lot more action.
And that's exactly how they opened the second movie up. I mean, as soon as you roll off the credits, you have Lethal Weapon 2, and then all of a sudden you jump right into Car Chase.
Yep.
Which is an awesome way to start a movie.
Yep.
Because at that point you're all like, oh shit, this is like a high action type movie. I'm hooked.
Yep.
I mean, I can still watch this movies on a rainy day, any day of the week.
Nice.
That's part of my mega collection of movies I have. So the next one on this list, I don't see it being a 3-movie sequel, maybe a 2, but they have The Dark Knight and then The Dark Knight Rises.
Okay.
And then you also have Batman Begins in this series as the first movie of the 3. It's like the newer age Batman type movie.
Right.
I mean,
so you're separating it from the Christian Bale Batman.
no, well, this is the Christian Bale Batman.
Right. Yeah.
Batman Begins.
But you're not talking the Batman franchise as a whole.
No, not the whole. No.
Okay.
So I mean, Batman, because that's the weird part, because the first one of this set is called Batman Begins, and then you jump into The Dark Knight and then The Dark Knight Rises.
Right.
So I mean, they all tie together in a sense, but it's just weird that you would have 2 movies with almost identical titles, but then the one that begins it is completely different.
Right.
That's why I was wondering how you felt, if you felt it actually counts as a sequel or not.
Yeah, I mean those 3 movies they would definitely count as sequels, I would say.
So I mean,
yeah, all the Christopher Nolan Batmans.
Yeah, I mean, again, Dark Knight is by far the best one of the 3.
Yes, absolutely. Heath Ledger.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Eckhart is Harvey Dent, Two-Face.
Yep.
Michael Caine, who, in my opinion, is a very underrated actor.
Although I could have done without Maggie Gyllenhaal.
I would have preferred them keep Katie Holmes in the role. I could agree with you on that. But I guess Hollywood, you got the whole commitments at certain time type movies. But
yeah,
I agree with you that if they leave her character out, it makes that movie a little bit better than it was.
Yeah.
She kind of, I wouldn't say she drug it down, but she
when she was on the screen, I felt I didn't feel invested.
Yeah, compared to Katie Holmes in the first one, right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But I mean that's a fair assessment. Then you take that character out completely because obviously in The Dark Knight she dies, but then you add a character like Anne Hathaway.
Yeah.
In the third one.
Right.
Who plays Selena Kyle in the third one.
Selena Kyle.
Again, hit or miss. The character premise is there, but is it necessary?
Well, let me put it this way. Is part of the reason you were disappointed in Selena Kyle is because you compared her to the Michelle Pfeiffer Selena Kyle? Even subconsciously?
Subconsciously, yes.
Yeah, because Michelle Pfeiffer's Selena Kyle was outstanding. She was a great character in both roles, in Selena and in Catwoman.
So, I mean, I guess I'm holding that kind of in Hathaway's head a little bit.
Yep.
But a lot of people didn't like Tom Hardy as Bane because it wasn't the right premise of him at all.
Right.
So, I mean, still a lot of action, high action type movie. Some of the sequences were great.
Mm-hmm.
You had another character in Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean...
And actually, they were very much setting up the next movie in at the end of the third one with Levitt possibly being Nightwing.
Yeah, right.
So that was very much a setup. If they had made another movie, that Gordon-Levitt was definitely going to be Nightwing.
I mean, it makes you kind of wonder why they didn't. Because if you ask me, the series did very well.
Yeah, I mean, commercially it did well.
I mean,
Uh, the biggest problem was the budget. I mean, they were very very expensive to make.
yes, they would be. I mean, I forget the exact number, but they were mind blowing.
Yeah.
They were each over $500 million.
Yep.
But in a sense, they made that money back then some.
Yes.
I remember when The Dark Knight came out, I was able to see that opening night. But then The Dark Knight Rises, all the opening night showings were completely sold out. And I was working overnight at the time anyway. I literally stayed up to go to the movies with a group of friends. We went to a 9 o'clock in the morning showing.
Okay.
That's the only showing we could go to that I would be able to go with my friends. So we saw the third movie at 9 o'clock in the morning. It was absolutely nuts. And the movie theater was packed.
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
Christopher Nolan did the smart thing. He released all these movies in the summer.
Yes.
So they were all summer blockbuster type
Summer
movies.
blockbusters. Yep. Kids
Back
are
when
out of
you-
school.
Yeah.
Kids are out of school.
I mean, I could sit and watch these movies all day.
Yep.
I don't watch Batman Begins as much as you should because it sorts the story, but I can always watch Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises any time of the day.
Yep.
So the next one is a series I have never seen.
Okay.
I've maybe seen bits and pieces of the first one, and that's it. And you had the Bourne series
Okay.
with Matt Damon and a whole bunch of other people who, I mean, I think there's 4 movies altogether in the series.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, I never really got into them, so I don't know much about them.
They weren't my favorites, although I did see bits and pieces of them. I think I might have saw the first one all the way through, but after that, Matt Damon just didn't. Matt Damon in that role just didn't do it for me.
Okay. I mean, we won't spend too much time on that one then, because, like I said, I've never seen them really. I don't want to say something truths about them and someone jump in
Yeah.
the chat or
I
message
mean,
me
they did
afterwards.
well. They did well in the box office.
Yeah, I mean,
There's some
I-
great action sequences and stuff, but just didn't grab my attention.
fair enough. I mean, again, I don't know too much about it to even start to try to even finesse about it without
Yeah.
going on like 4 or 5 different websites trying to get information all about them.
Yep.
So I'll just bypass that. We've already touched base on Rocky.
Right.
The next one, I don't like these movies. I've watched both of them. I mean, I would say 1 and 2 were only ones that, in my opinion, would be part sequel, and that's the Alien movies.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, this movie gave me nightmares as a kid. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, Ridley Scott, Sigourney Weaver. Yeah, I mean they were graphic, they were scary,
Yeah,
gross at times, but did extremely well.
I mean, I've watched them both at least once. I mean, the wood graphic is spot on. I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of the few movies I can say that flips my stomach when I'm watching it. It makes me really queasy.
Yep.
But again, directed by James Cameron, so what can you expect other than greatness?
No, Ridley Scott.
Well, the one on this list, Aliens 1986, was directed by James Cameron. Then Ridley Scott did the second one.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just going based off this list. I mean, it just
Okay. Gotcha.
it breaks down the sequel movies, and the one on the screen is 1986 version of it.
Gotcha.
So I'm sure you're right. I know you are right, but
Yep. No.
But
I always forget about Cameron doing the first one.
yeah, I mean, it makes me wonder though, why didn't he want to do the second one?
He was committed to something else at the time.
Would that be Terminator?
It could have been be about the time frame. Be about right.
Okay. I mean, if Aliens is the first one, then that was directed by James Cameron. And yeah, I mean, that came
Well,
out.
you also had probably pre-production for Titanic happening,
Yeah, that's true.
which that was years in the making.
I think he said he spent 7 years writing that movie.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yep.
I mean, it paid off for him. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but
I mean, the ending was already written.
yeah.
The boat sinks.
Yep.
Hello. The ending's already written. Just work backwards.
But the extensive research that you have to do to make a movie like Titanic, to go back and get all the list of passengers, where that passenger came from, did they survive, did they die? I mean,
they did so much research.
I mean, it paid off too.
To make it as authentic as possible, because they're still descendants of people that were on the ship still alive.
Yeah.
So he felt he owed it to them to be as accurate as possible.
And I think you did a pretty good job, don't you?
I would agree. Yep. Good film.
Yeah, I mean, not one I have in my collection yet, surprisingly. I had it in my hand a couple times and I put it back.
Yeah.
But it's definitely one I want to buy.
It's long.
But yeah, it's what, 3.5, 4 hours, ain't it?
3.5, 4 hours, yeah. Yep.
Easily.
Yeah. When it was first released on VHS, it was 2 tapes.
Yeah, and now it's one very long Blu-ray DVD.
Yeah. Yep.
I do remember watching on VHS the one time you pop the one tape in, you get to the end and it says please insert tape 2.
Yep. That's it.
And you put the second tape in and it picks right off where the first one left off.
Yep.
Which back in the day kind of sucked.
Yeah.
You're nice and comfortable in your chair watching the movie, then you got to pop up, change the DVD. Yeah, no thank you. So, the next one on the list, this has The Godfather Part 2 as number 15. So, obviously, we're skipping the first one, they're jumping right into the second one.
Godfather 2 was the better of the two, actually. And actually, there was a third. But the third was actually made for TV. For NBC as a miniseries. And then at one point, Paramount released a box set which included Godfather 1, Godfather 2, and Godfather 3 as one continuous story. And it was on 4 VHS tapes. I actually had it in my collection. I don't have it anymore. But it made it one continuous story. And actually, Godfather 2 was actually the only sequel ever to win Best Picture.
Wow.
Okay. So you got this one?
No, I see you eyeing it up. Go ahead.
What's up?
Got Darth Texas in the chat. Good evening, sir. Nice to see you.
But yeah, Godfather 2 was the only sequel ever to win Best Picture.
Yeah, I mean, again, I've watched bits and pieces of them. I haven't sat and watched the whole entire movie. I need to.
Great star-studded cast. I mean, James Caan and De Niro and Dustin Hoffman and so many. Robert Duvall, Talia Shire, James Caan.
I've heard the cast is out of this world.
I mean, it's amazing cast.
I just gotta get
Brando, obviously.
Yeah, I just gotta get off my lazy butt and watch them all one day.
Yeah,
I should have done it today, considering how rainy it is. But
well, you can only do so much in a day,
Yeah, I mean, and again, these movies are probably each 2-3 hours long.
They're long ones.
So you gotta invest entire day to actually sit and watch them.
Yep.
Because it's a sequel. So once you watch one, you invest it in the second one. Because now sometimes that first one leaves off, and you're like, oh crap! Now I gotta watch the second one to know what happens.
Gotcha.
And,
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't The Godfather kind of sort of like that?
It is. Like I said, they were able to splice it into one continuous story um, on video. So yeah, it was actually one picked off after the other.
And the second one was directed by a different director than the first one, correct?
Uh,
Or was it all Francis Ford Coppola?
Coppola did probably the first two.
Okay.
He did not do the third one. He was an advisor on the third one, but like I said, the third one wasn't theatrical. The third one was actually a TV miniseries.
Oh wow.
So
Just sharing the show here. Sequels with us. The next one is Rambo.
Rambo.
I mean, I think I just finally watched Rambo First Blood not too long ago, but I never really got into the Rambo series.
Yeah, they weren't my favorites. I mean, it was a good character, very simplistic, just an excuse to blow up a bunch of stuff.
that's, that's pretty much what I got out of the one I did watch recently. I was like a lot of
Yeah,
explosions and type stuff.
yeah. I mean, it got a little preachy. Um, it became a vehicle for kind of sounding off against POWs and how they were treated when they got back to the States and all this other stuff. That the writing very much was geared towards uh, how people were treated when they came back from war, and they pretty much continued that vein all throughout the series.
Fair enough. I mean, if you haven't seen, would you recommend going back and watching them or no?
The first two,
So Rambo First Blood and then Rambo First Blood Part 2?
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Just making mental notes on what movies
Like
you need
in
to check
in
out.
in a lot of the movies that we're talking about, after the second one, it's sometimes a stretch.
Yeah, that is very true.
There are exceptions to the rule, but that's often the rule.
I mean, it's very hard nowadays to actually see a movie succeed past the second one.
Yep. Unless I won't spoil. I don't know
Okay.
what else is on the list, so I'll wait and see if it comes up.
Okay, well, the next one on the list I've never heard of. I'm sure you have. It says Magnum Force.
Magnum Force
I guess this goes under the
is
whole
Dirty
Dirty.
Harry. That's
Yeah,
Dirty Harry series.
never
Yeah.
really watched those. Um, all I know is Clint Eastwood and Do You Feel Lucky Punk.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they were a
So
little
the
bit
Dirty
before my
Harry
time.
movies were, you know, they were what they were. They weren't exactly action packed. They were, you know,
Cheesy at best.
character driven.
Okay. I mean, and underneath that, they have The Enforcer, another Dirty Harry movie.
Right.
Um, then you have Sudden Impact, 1983.
Mm-hmm.
Never heard of that one. The Road Warrior. I'm guessing that goes under the whole Mad Max series.
Mad Max. Yeah. Yep.
And then after that, we have it starts into the Indiana Jones.
Okay. Well, before we go past Mad Max,
Okay.
actually, the third one in the Mad Max series was very good. Was Thunderdome
I have heard of Thunderdome. I don't think
with
I've.
one Tina Turner's in it,
Oh wow. Okay.
and she also sang the theme song for the movie, but she acted in it as well.
Now, the Mad Max movie that came out recently, is that tie in with these other ones, or are they rebooting the franchise?
That was a reimagining, so to
Okay.
speak.
So
Yeah.
you wouldn't tie it in with the original three?
No. No.
No. I mean, I have heard these are also like really pretty good movies. Again, I haven't sat and
Yeah,
watched
they
them.
were. They were actually pretty good. I mean, the first one was very low budget. It was almost shot exclusively in Australia, on a very low budget, but did very, very well in the box office, and did, generate a couple sequels, and each sequel was better than the last.
Fair enough. I mean, sounds like got a 7.6 star rating and a 77 on the Metascore, so it's pretty high for the Road Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Post-apocalyptic Australian wasteland. Cynical drifter agrees to help a small gasoline-rich community escape a horde of bandits. And Mel Gibson stars in it, huh?
Yep.
Directed by George Miller. Never heard of George Miller. So, should we jump into the Indiana Jones?
Sure.
I mean, I've seen a couple of them because my uncle was a big Indiana Jones fan back in the day. So I remember watching Indiana Jones and the Lost Crusade
Okay.
a lot. And in my opinion, that was one of my favorites.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Just because of the chemistry between Harrison Ford and Sean Connery
Okay.
as a father-son duo.
Nice. Yeah. Connery was an interesting addition to the series. I liked his character.
I mean, I used to be able to do a very good impersonation. There's one scene I've since lost my touch.
Yeah.
But I just Sean Connery, like you said, he added a different feel to that movie compared to the Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
So I mean, I enjoyed the second one more than the first one, but I've seen both of them, so they're both equally as good.
Mm-hmm.
And Harrison Ford in that role, there's talks of another one coming out with him being Indiana Jones again.
Yeah, they scrapped it.
Did they?
Yeah.
I mean, the man's getting older. I mean, some of these movies that they want to put out nowadays, I get it. They're trying to reboot franchises and stuff with the original characters, but some of these characters just can't do what they used to be able to do.
No. They really can't.
So if you ask me, it's not fair. Like, going back to, like I had said before the show, I watched Top Gun Maverick the other day, where Tom Cruise does phenomenal in it. You can see that movie took a hell of a lot out of him.
Yeah.
Certain parts of that movie, he just looks ghost white pale.
Yeah.
I mean, they make the guy do 10 G's for crying out loud.
Yeah, and those scenes that they tape, I mean, they're actually in the planes.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in the back seat, but they're still in the plane.
Yeah. So you're getting that full force no matter what.
Yeah, those guys had to go through a bunch of training to even be able to do this movie.
Yeah. I mean, I'd give it. I know you said you haven't watched the whole thing through.
No, I've seen bits and pieces of it.
My opinion, I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay.
So it's a passing grade. Could have been better, but there were some really good parts to it.
Yeah.
But then it falls under the cheesy part. I would definitely recommend the original Top Gun over the second one.
Yeah.
Just my opinion.
The first Top Gun's a great movie.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know how much you know about Indiana Jones. If not, we can keep on going down the list if you want.
Yeah, let's keep on going.
Okay, I want to know what one you have in mind.
What, the series?
Yeah. So, you want to say that? Go ahead.
Vacation.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about this. I love it. I actually just picked up 1, 2, and 3 on DVD the other day.
Yep.
So,
And I like all three. I am a big fan of all three.
All three were absolutely great movies. I mean, a lot of people don't care for the European Vacation as much,
Yeah.
but I still find that one just as funny as Christmas Vacation and Original Vacation.
Yep.
I mean, Original Vacation has him go back to Wally World in California. You get a cameo from John Candy.
Well, in Vegas Vacation too.
Yeah, so you actually have four.
Yeah.
True. I mean,
So, of all of them, I think probably European Vacation might have been the weakest of the four.
I could
But
see that.
I got to tell you, I thoroughly enjoyed each and every one. Those characters, um, just Ellen and Clark alone, are worth the price of admission.
Oh yeah. Well,
Um,
they're the only two that stayed true to all four movies, if I'm not mistaken.
Beverly D'Angelo.
Yes.
But it's funny because in one of the vacation movies, Johnny Galecki, who played Leonard on The Big Bang Theory, is Rusty.
No,
Did you know that?
I did not.
You did not know that.
That would well, no, it wasn't the fourth one.
It was the third one.
I was trying to picture in my head the different Rusties throughout the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, third one makes sense because the fourth one is, if I'm not mistaken, Ethan Randall.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so I knew that right off the bat because
Yeah.
I stayed up late last night to make sure a movie worked that I had just gotten in the mail. I finally got my hands on a copy of Dutch.
Oh, okay.
And Ethan
I
Randall.
know that's
one
of your ones you've been looking for.
I found it oddly enough, found it on a website at a Goodwill in Detroit.
Okay.
Got the disc last night. The disc was beat to shit, but it worked and played all the way through.
Oh, there you go.
So I was really happy.
Gotta love it.
I mean, but going back to National Lampoons, but I mean, you have Randy Quaid in the first couple.
Yeah.
He's not in European Vacation, but he's in the original Christmas in Vegas.
Yes.
And his dynamic of a character cracks me up.
Oh, yeah. Cousin Eddie.
I mean,
Shitter's full, Clark.
yeah. Merry Christmas! And then they add his two neighbors for Christmas Vacation who absolutely despise the living hell out of him.
Julie Louis Dreyfus
Yeah.
from Seinfeld.
Yep. I knew the name. I just was trying to picture what show. And like I said, that's why I love having you on here with me because you saved the day. Why is the carpet wet, Todd? I don't know, Margot.
Yeah. Yep.
But
And a Brian Doyle Murray as his boss.
yep, in Christmas.
Bill
Vacation.
Murray's brother.
Yep. I mean,
Which is ironic because Bill Murray and Chevy Chase have a genuine dislike for each other.
makes you wonder how if he got along with his brother or not, or was that done out of spite? Like, okay, you hate me, I'm going to cast your brother in the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, which one did you like the most, though? That's for putting you on the spot.
Oh, wow. That is so tough. That is tough. I'm going to say oh my God. I'm going to have trouble picking.
I mean, all four of them were great.
Yeah. I mean, they really were. I mean, other than European, the other three, any one of them comes on the TV, I'm watching it.
Oh, I could agree with that 110%.
So, yeah. But I mean, the first one, the John Candy cameo, outstanding. Emma Jean Coco as Aunt Edna, classic. Christy Brinkley as the girl in the car, epic. But then again, Vegas Vacation, you got Sid Caesar in there as the guy who dies in the casino.
Yep.
You know, just Vegas Vacation was hilarious. Wayne Newton,
Yep.
no. Ziegfeld and Roy.
Yeah, and they take Chevy Chase on stage and make him disappear for half the night.
Yeah, yep. So yeah, they
So,
they all have their own qualities, but like I said, any one of them I'd watch again in a minute.
so it's a toss up. Okay, I mean, I think that's the first time I've never got a definitive answer from you, but the way you explain it is absolutely priceless.
Yeah.
Andrea's in the building. Good evening, Andrea. Nice to see you.
Hey, Andrea.
Andrea, tonight we're talking about movie sequels. If you have any of mind that you would like to talk about, feel free to drop it in the chat. But we just got talking about the whole National Lampoon series. I mean, and I asked Ron, put him on the spot, and though he didn't give me a definitive answer which one was his favorite, he made a case for all of them.
Yeah.
So
I chickened out.
and it begins.
Thanks, Andrea.
And it begins. I'm not giving no fucks tonight. She said, I've never seen any of the National Lampoons.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think it's a bad thing.
I mean, yeah, they're very entertaining. They really are.
So, there you go. Here's a spot question again for you. Reading that comment, I've never seen any of the National Lampoons. Which one would you recommend Andrew watch first?
The first one.
So you would say go in chronicle order 1, 2, 3, 4?
I would go 1, 3, 4, 2.
Alright, so Andrew, that's National Lampoon's Vacation, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Vegas Vacation, and then National Lampoon's European Vacation.
Yes.
That is the order of the 4 movies that you have to watch. There's your homework. Get on it.
Right after you get to those Star Wars movies, brother.
Oh, wait. I gotta watch the Star Wars movies before she watches that? That's not fair. Because I've seen all.
She's like, nah. Pass.
Oh, geez. You guys have to be so rude about it. I'm just kidding. Oh, I just look tired on the screen today. I don't know why.
No.
But, alright, the next one on this list, this series got overplayed, I think, would be the 007 series. Movie sequel that sucked. Sandlot. Greed.
Yep.
They have never made another one past the first one.
Correct.
Mr. Sam Simmons, if he was in the chat, would tell you that the second one was good, but I would disagree with that. So,
yeah.
I mean,
money grab.
Yeah. What's that?
Jump to shark.
God damn! I was trying to figure out what the saying was. But no, the Sandlot should never have been made into a sequel.
Yep.
I mean, the first one was absolutely phenomenal, and then the second one I heard just completely went to a whole different direction.
Yep.
There's a whole new batch of kids. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's why I'm happy that they never made a sequel to the Goonies.
You're killing me, Smalls.
One of the most iconic quotes from that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching Blazing Saddles from Little.
Oh, nice. One of my personal favorites of all time.
I mean, the floor is yours if you want to make comments about this one.
Yeah.
Good old Mel Brooks, that's all I can say.
Yeah. Mel Brooks, and he actually, Richard Pryor has a writing credit for Blazing Saddles because Mel and Richard were friends, and when Mel was prepping the script, he actually brought in Richard Pryor to read through it and say, are black people going to get offended by this joke or that joke, and pretty much went through the whole script and what he could and could not get away with.
Fair enough. I like this one. It reminds me of a Wild Wild West movie.
I love that movie. It was the most horrible movie ever, and I loved it.
Fair enough.
We talked about that before, I think, John.
We've talked Wild Wild West a couple different times. Yes.
Kenneth Branagh as Dr. Lovelace, just classic movie villain.
Yeah, I can see the heart pumping out of your chest now. Like, oh my god, I'm in love.
Oh man, let me tell you that. And this guy's like a Shakespearean actor, and to go like off the grid and play this cartoon villain was just outrageous, and I loved it.
See, Gary's in the chat. Good evening, Gary. Nice of you to pop in.
Yes, you're right, Andrea. It's a what they call a guilty pleasure movie. You don't want to admit to anybody that you like it, but you really like it. I have a bunch of those.
I was gonna say we could actually have a good conversation about that one night.
Guilty pleasure movies, yes.
That could be a very interesting topic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to write that topic down if I can find my sticky notes. There you are.
Then I can talk 5 minutes about Xanadu.
What the hell is Xanadu? I never heard of that.
Oh. Xanadu, let's put it this way. I'll give you a quick 2-minute synopsis of Xanadu. Okay. Olivia Newton-John, Michael Beck, who was in The Warriors, Gene Kelly, the dancer on roller skates, the kick-ass soundtrack by ELO, the Electric Light Orchestra. And there you go. That's Xanadu.
Xanadu. Zenado.
XANDAU.
That was close.
Yes.
And you said Burt Wonderstone is her guilty pleasure.
Yeah. And we talked about that one last week, right?
Yeah, we had a couple of trivia questions on that movie.
Right, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but I guessed on it, and I did pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want, maybe we can talk to Andrea. I know she'll be back next Friday. Maybe we can do Guilty Pleasures next Friday night, and we can have the three of us do it.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
We can touch base with Andrea. I think that'd be a fun conversation for the three of us.
Yeah.
I know her and Sam want to get back into the Lord of the Rings series too. They started.
Yeah. Yep.
So, I mean, but...
Well, let me know. We'll get to it eventually.
Yeah. I'd be down for that. There you go.
Okay. There you go.
Next Friday night, Guilty Pleasure movie night.
There you go.
I'll have to see if I can make a quickie intro for it. I think that'd be kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the movie 13 Going on 30? I've seen bits and pieces of it. It's a good Jennifer Gardner movie. But
the thriller sequence was pretty killer.
Yeah, I mean...
I sound like Dr. Seuss. The thriller was killer.
Now you can advertise it laugh out loud. It'll be fun. There you go. Andrew's in for it. Ron's in for it. There you go.
There we go.
Next Friday night planned out in a week in advance. I love it.
And we could definitely, everybody's got movies like this in their head, and we'll definitely get some good ones out of the chat too.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean,
we gotta make sure Julie's here too. Julie has some great movie knowledge as well.
Julie,
was it Julie or
Marlena?
Marlena. Yes.
I will shoot her a message and let her know.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to sequels. The new Matrix movie, thumbs down.
Ooh, okay.
I mean, I have yet to see the new Matrix. I know I watched the first couple. I own the first three actually, and
They
the
set the
first
bar high. They set the bar high.
yeah, the first three were great.
Yes.
I mean, awesome action, good story for all of them, but then I can't really speak for the new sequel though.
No.
I don't know if you've seen it
I
yet or
haven't
not.
seen it. I haven't seen it.
So I mean, maybe Andrew can give us a breakdown next Friday before we dive into that next topic because I've heard mixed about it. It's either really good or it's really bad.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious to know why she thinks it's so low. But Keanu Reeves in
Now,
those movies were great.
yeah. Yeah. Now, what Keanu's in the new one?
I think he's in it, yes.
Okay.
Don't let it save you the time. Just flat out don't. That's all she says.
Okay.
If
Joe
she's
hated me. He's big on Matrix. Yeah. See, that's the thing. If the hardcore fans don't like it, then you know it's bad. Because
true.
a lot of times you're willing to make allowances
Yeah, I mean,
just to have another shot to hear another part of the story.
yeah.
You know, and you kind of let things slide. That's why a lot of these, third installments are marginal at best.
Now, it's funny you say that because there's another series that I know people are going to hate me for this, and I apologize. But the next one I had on my mind was the Scream movies.
Okay.
1 and 2, fantastic.
Okay.
Third, fourth one, hit or miss. But the last two, I haven't seen the new one yet. I've heard the sixth one is awesome.
Okay.
The one that was just recently released in March. I've heard the sixth Scream movie was out of this world awesome. And again, Andrew hasn't seen any of the Scream movies. That's quite okay. I ruined it for my friend. She, to this day, holds it very high over my head. Ever since the first one, she will not watch any of the other Scream movies.
Okay.
But, I mean, I've been wanting to see the sixth one just because I've seen all the other ones. So, at that point, you invest it, you have to go see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and they've actually been able to maintain at least the core, the stars.
Well, this past one only had one original cast member in it.
Just one?
Just one.
Just Courtney?
Just Courtney. Never wouldn't do it because they couldn't come to a contractual agreement on making her part of this movie.
Okay.
But I don't do scary movies. It Chapter 1 and 2, I suffered through never again. I mean, the first It, I could completely agree with you. If you've never watched scary movies, will definitely traumatize you. The second one, where it had its gory parts to it, I thought it was the worst of the two. I mean, It was hit or miss.
Well, Tim Curry was in the first one. Tim Curry was Pennywise in the first one, right?
Yes, you're talking the original 1990s version. We're talking the ones that came out recently.
Oh, blech. Blech.
Where the difference is, okay, we'll talk about this real quick. Where the difference between the two different movies are, okay? The first one, the one you're talking about with Tim Curry as Pennywise, was one movie split into two parts.
Right.
What Andrew's mentioning in the comments is it's 1 and 2. They make it two separate movies. So where the first chapter leaves off, chapter 2 starts, and now they're adults. So that's what I liked about the Tim Curry one, is because you have the same movie, just two separate parts.
Yeah.
Which made it a 3+ hour movie.
And it is a Stephen King story, so.
Yes. And then with the chapters 1 and 2, they break it up into 1.5 hour movies each. And make it two separate movies to try to get those two separate incomes.
Right. Okay.
So, I mean, I love the original It, though. So, you're spot on with Tim Curry as Pennywise for that. Hands down, awesome character.
Absolutely.
Andrew said be right back. All right, she'll be
Okay.
back. But I mean that's pretty much it for this list. I mean we could touch on the original Batmans too, with Michael Keaton.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about them for a minute.
There's Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson as the Joker in the first one. And then the second one you have Michael Keaton, Danny DeVito, Michelle Pfeiffer, your favorite Catwoman.
Yes.
And Christopher Walken as
Max Shrek.
Max Shrek. Again, drawing a blank top of my head. But and then you just got cheesy ones after that were not sequels. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, they're hit or miss.
Yeah. I mean, Joel Schumacher just, once they turned him over to him, that's when they really got campy. But, I mean, Jim Carrey's Riddler, definitely a good character. Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face, definitely a great character. Even throwing in a little Drew Barrymore there in that one.
Yep. What was her name? She actually has a character's name in that movie. I'm trying to think what it was. Kiss or something, I forget. But yes, Drew Barrymore has a cameo in Batman Forever. You're right.
And it was Debbie Mazur and Drew Barrymore were the two girls with Two-Face.
Gotcha. I didn't know the second one. I definitely know it was Drew Barrymore as the other one, though.
And then Ed Begley Jr. was Jim Carrey's boss at Wayne Enterprises.
Who goes flying out the window.
Yes. Yep.
And how could we forget? Nicole Kidman's in that one, too.
Yeah.
Dr. Chase Meridian.
Yep. The bat signal is not a beeper.
You said that pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the Batman Forever had its parts to it, but then Batman and Robin, forget it.
Yeah. Arnold as Mr. Freeze and Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here's one for you. The head of the gang that Robin fights in the alleyway when he steals the Batmobile. You with me?
I'm listening.
This is and the head of the gang was actually Sonny Chiba, the 70s martial arts movie star.
Wow.
From the 70s.
Would never have known that.
Yep.
Sonny Chiba. Huh?
Yep.
Did I say that right?
Yes.
First and foremost.
Correct.
Sonny Chiba. I mean, yeah, I would never have known that, but that when we talk about a campy movie, that movie is a definition of campy in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, with what the hell was his name? Christopher McDonald? No, not God. Why am I drawing a blank? The person that plays Robin, Chris McDonald.
Chris O'Donnell.
Chris O'Donnell. Elise Silverstone as Batgirl, whatever the hell she was.
Barbara Gordon, yes, / Batgirl. But she wasn't Barbara Gordon in that one. She was actually related to Alfred.
Yes.
She was.
Well, look, I forget the exact name they gave her.
Pennyworth was her last name.
Yes. Batman. Rob. Here we go. We have
Barbara. She was Barbara.
Yeah, on the cast list there, you have her listed as Batgirl.
Yeah, it was Barbara Pennyworth.
Sounds right. But I mean, the cast was due. Don't get me wrong, but the whole premise of the movie was horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, Arnold has a couple key funny quotes from that movie. You can say like, "Just chill."
No, I mean the funniest scene in that movie, I have to say, is when he's in the lair and he's making his henchmen sing Snow Miser because Snow Miser's on the TV.
Yep. Yeah.
And that was hilarious. I actually laughed at that part.
Yeah. A bad picture of it, but that's what we're talking about. So in case anyone
Yeah.
wants to know, I mean, yeah, kind of cheesy. I mean, the suits were decent, but they weren't the best.
No.
And then Arnold and Irma in their costumes. I mean, again, very hit or miss.
Yeah.
Andrew says that's her favorite Batman.
Really? The one with Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy? With George Clooney?
Yeah, good old George. Look how young he looks in that picture. Actually, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Now, see, to me, Clooney was my second least favorite Batman.
Let me guess. Your number one least favorite Batman, Val Kilmer.
Yes.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I got one right tonight.
Yep. I did not believe Val Kilmer as Bruce Wayne. Just didn't do it for me.
I mean, so would you swap the two Batmans then? Say put George Clooney with the Batman Forever cast and Val Kilmer with the Batman and Robin cast. Would they made the movies any better or any worse?
Kilmer would have made Batman and Robin worse, I think.
Fair enough.
But I think Clooney could have made the other one better.
Because Batman Forever also, I mean, the cast was there, the premise was there, sure, but don't worry about that. People are just trying to promote stuff, and it's a scam.
Yeah.
If I knew how to get rid of it, I could, but so I pay no mind to those people. They want to talk about jumping the shark. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to do advertising for you, and they rip you off. I mean, it's not even worth it. I mean, where can I find some pictures? Here we go. Oh, oddly enough, I pull up the first picture that they have on the website is this one. You're Miss Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
I mean, she actually looks really good in that picture. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you have the whole Batman and Robin suit again. I mean, there you have it. Val Kilmer Batman. I mean, it doesn't really suit him.
No.
That's a crazy Jim Carrey picture.
Edward Nygma. I'm sucking up your brain waves.
I mean, that's actually a pretty cool one.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder though what Tommy Lee Jones is saying in the dude like, I absolutely hate you.
I hate you. Tommy Lee Jones absolutely despised Jim Carrey in making this movie. Because Tommy Lee Jones is a serious actor, and Jim Carrey was constantly improvising and going off script, and Tommy Lee Jones was having none of it.
So
they battled. They almost came to blows on the set.
So you think that's what he's whispering in his ear right here? I absolutely hate your fucking guts.
Yep. When you go out to the parking lot, I'm going to beat you with a baseball bat.
I mean, that would actually be a fun game to do one day. Get a bunch of random pictures like this from different movies and pull them up and just what's the actor saying in this picture?
Yep.
I mean, I think that could be a really fun interactive movie night type thing.
Or that could be an entertainment night thing.
Yeah. I mean, I love
either one.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It could be could be good for both shows, actually. Oh no.
Yeah.
But
either one. But yeah.
How do you do this type of costume design? That blows me away. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, and he played it up to the hilt too, because when he would turn to one side and he'd change his voice, and then he'd turn to the other side and go, ah.
Because when he's the Two-Face side, it kind of
Yes, Bruce, you've always been a good friend. I must thank you for that. And burn it down! Ha ha ha!
Well, that's what I was saying. When he turns and faces Two-Face, you kind of get the resemblance of him in the movie Blown Away.
Yeah,
Like that
without
psychotic...
the Irish accent.
Without the Irish accent, yes, but you have that psychotic demeanor
Yes.
to him.
Yes. Agreed. Tommy Lee Jones, great actor.
Or Jim and Drew together.
Yep.
Hey, look, it's Dr. Chase Meridian.
Would you care to dance?
I mean, he actually looks very young and healthy. I mean, it's a really sad nowadays to see what Val Kilmer's actually going through.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, it's kind of sad, but
Admiral Iceman.
yeah. Nicole Kidman again. Who we have in this one? Tommy Lee Jones, Kidman. Don't know who is that. Joe Schumacher.
That's Joel Schumacher. Yeah.
Huh.
And that's Kilmer.
Trying to be all cool in his shades.
Yep.
I mean, Joe Schumacher made some decent movies. I wouldn't say he was over the top with many of his projects.
Yeah.
But look how like proper and stuff Tommy Lee Jones looks. Like,
yep.
I look all dapper. I'm gonna have my hands behind my back.
Yeah. Hey, now go back to that picture for a second because I'll give you the dialogue. Okay. Tommy Lee Jones should have a little bubble above his head that says, "I'm grabbing Nicole Kidman's butt right now."
Is that why she has the look on her face?
Yep.
Like,
why did they call her Lassie?
Oh, no. Oh, no. A Chinese food, I guess that is, huh? Interesting. I mean, when you look at the movie poster, this cast like jumps out at you, though, for that time period.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's exactly what this was supposed to do because it was totally driven by the star power.
The old VHS cover, I remember that.
Yeah.
That your famous not a reefer scene.
Yep.
Yeah, give me some dialogue for this picture.
Let's see. Okay, so this time I'll be Raggedy Andy and you could be Raggedy Ann.
No, I'm not looking at your breast, I promise. It looked. I mean, you can.
When I said I wanted to grab you by the curlies, that's not what I meant.
That is not the perfect reaction picture. You said what?
Say what?
That's just perfect how they were back to back like that.
Holy pubic hair, Batman.
Yeah, and another one. Are you serious? Oh man, these are great. A lot of pictures of Nicole Kidman. I guess the photographer liked her back in the day.
Duh.
Yep, see? She's,
yeah.
Look at me now.
That's what she's in it. She's boxing in her office.
Yep, this is the Nicole Kidman segment.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, another one.
Holy crap.
Oh my god, dude. And the bad part is that the reactions are getting better and better in each photo.
Yeah.
Oh, they went too fast. Oh, that's Drew Barrymore. I was like, who's that? Never mind.
Yeah, it's true.
the weirdest scene in the whole movie.
Yeah.
When you have all the different people watching the Edward Nigger's TV.
Yep. Including the dog.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, this one, when I first saw it, kind of reminded me of Morgan Freeman with a mustache.
Okay. Yeah.
But I don't know any of these faces. I don't know if you can point anybody out.
Nah, they're just random actors.
I've had enough looking at Nicole
All
Kidman.
right, yeah.
Uh,
Really, John? Gary gave you a really.
I know, I can see it. I'm reading it. I mean, what'd I do, Gary? What'd I do?
Unless that was for me.
Maybe.
That could have been for me.
What other movies could we pull pictures up from that you would like to look at? That were probably funny back in the day.
Oh, I know another one we should talk about.
Okay.
Smoking the Bandit.
Smokey the Bandit, okay.
There was 1, 2, and 3.
Yep. And then Smokey and the Judge.
And then there was a direct-to-video trash after that. But 1 and 2 had Burt Reynolds in it.
Yep.
3 had Jerry Reed. And still had Big and Little Enos in it.
True. Oh, he's trying to be like Sheldon. Okay. I see you, Gary. I see you, Gary. These are some Smoking the Bandit photos for you. I love Burt Reynolds' stash in these movies.
Yeah. And that's Hal Needham, the director.
Oh, right here?
There. Yeah, that's Hal Needham, who directed Burt in a bunch of these movies back then, like Hooper and Smoking the Bandit, etc. But Hal Needham shopped this movie to a bunch of different studios. He was a stuntman, and he shopped it around. Nobody was buying it until his friend Burt Reynolds got involved. And then once Burt got involved, he got Sally Field involved. And then Jackie Gleason, once Jackie Gleason was on board, then the studio gave it a green light.
Interesting. So
but it was shot on a very low budget. And well outperformed what the expectations were for it.
Well, that's always a good thing when a movie can do that. That's for sure. I mean,
yeah, Hal Needham put up a bunch of his own money.
I feel that's a common thing back in the day.
And Burt took, took a lot less, and so did Jackie Gleason, in order to get it made.
Wow. Interesting.
Okay.
Photo.
That actor right there, his name is Alfie Wise. Just
this one?
Yeah. I just figured I'd impress you a little bit. Just some nothing character in the movie, and
you always impress me, Ron.
I'm twisted. I know his name. It's like
see, even Burt Reynolds is laughing at you.
Give me a Diablo sandwich and a Dr. Pepper. Make it quick. I'm in a goddamn hurry.
Is that why he's laughing? Because he's saying that?
Yeah, he's probably spitting. Because he was spitting in the scene that they kept. He has to wipe the spit out of his eye. Because when Jackie Gleason has to talk with his mouth full, he's spraying it.
Jeez.
Big and Little Enos Burdette. Pat McCormick and Paul. Yeah. What's his name? Paul.
Newman?
No. Paul Williams. And he actually also did a movie, a really twisted movie that you may or may not have ever seen, called Phantom of the Paradise.
Nope.
Was kind of a Phantom of the Opera kind of takeoff, but it was kind of rock and roll kind of related.
Okay.
Paul Williams is also a songwriter and composer and wrote some pretty famous songs, actually.
I'll have to look them up. That's a good picture of Burt and Sally together.
Yep. started a long-term relationship after this.
Like actually together or movie wise?
Yeah. Oh no, they were together for a long time.
Wow. I forget. He passed away about what, 4 years ago?
Yeah, about that. I think it was.
It's a shame. He was a great actor.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see where we're at with this draft.
So Paul Williams wrote songs like Three Dog Nights, an old-fashioned love song.
Okay.
Helen Reddy's You and Me Against the World. The Carpenters, We've Only Just Begun. And Rainy Days and Mondays
Interesting.
were all written by Paul Williams, who was little Enos Burdett.
I would never known that. That's why I love talking to stuff with you, because I learned so much new stuff. I mean, I'm sure people in the chat would agree with me. You are fun and always enjoyable to listen to.
It's just I got all this useless information swimming around. I got to get it out somehow.
So I mean, yeah, I can't top that. I mean, I listen to movie scores, but movie scores don't have words in it, so I don't know actual songs. But like, there's some movies that have that awesome soundtrack to it that the people always rave about.
Yeah, movie composers. That'd be a great topic some night too.
Oh, I could go on a long list of those.
Because I know that's something you're into. So
I'll put it to you this way: it's my longest playlist on Spotify.
Yep.
40 hours and 5 minutes.
And who would have known that John Williams was some rando guitar player in a group back in the 60s? The composer for all of Tim Burton's movies and a bunch of other movies was the lead singer for Oingo Boingo. Danny Elfman. Yes.
Yep.
Correct.
Hans Zimmer.
John Williams.
I mean, I actually it's actually really funny that we just said Hans Zimmer, okay?
Yeah.
You were talking when I first started doing this show. When I was active on Twitter, stuff like that. I actually tried to reach out to Hans Zimmer personally. I followed his Twitter and everything. I actually sent him a direct message, how you can do that on Twitter, asking for permission to use his Dark Knight theme song for this show.
Yeah.
Never heard back from him, of course, but it was worth a try.
Hey, never know.
I mean, I would love to get permissions like that to play music. I mean, we could do like a whole movie guest to tune type thing, which I'd probably kick everybody's ass in because I spend that much time listening to movie scores to the point I can actually like pick out exactly what part of that movie that song is played in. That's how bad of an obsession I have.
How about Jerry Goldsmith?
Awesome composer. His most famous one,
Star Trek,
but another one I absolutely 100% enjoy, even though people ridicule the movie, the movie Rudy. Mine don't start, but you don't like. Let me finish, please. Let me explain. You don't have to like the school Notre Dame to like the movie. I get that. You're a big Miami Hurricanes fan, but if you listen to some of the composers from that movie, it is absolutely incredible. And Jerry Goldsmith did that whole entire movie.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, I'll be good.
I mean, I know people bash that movie because of how horrible the story actually is.
Ding 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 ding.
But if you take out the bullshit behind the fake in the aspect of it, the soundtrack for it with the movie scores is amazing. All I'm saying.
Okay, I'll tell you what, I'm all for it. Take out all the dialogue and don't make me look at Sean Astin's mug, and I will be happy to listen to the score.
That's all I'm asking. Don't even watch the movie. Don't watch the movie at all.
Fair enough.
Just look up The Rudy Score by Jerry Goldsmith, and it will blow you away. Especially the one called Tryouts.
Deal.
That's the number one I want you to listen to. Tryouts by Jerry Goldsmith.
Got it.
I mean, but don't watch the movie. Nothing. Just listen to the scores.
Okay. Fair enough.
Then you can amplify it any way you want after that point. If you don't like it, I respect that.
I like Jerry Goldsmith's work, so I'm sure I would like it.
And then John Williams, you had said a couple of seconds ago.
Yep.
Is very highly acclaimed for Jurassic Park.
And Star Wars.
Star Wars, yes. Again, I do have... No, I'm not going to say it. Never mind.
And Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yep. What else does he have? I'm actually going to pull up my list. I'm cheating, but... where's my Spotify? Alright, movie scores. Like I said, absolutely enjoy Hans Zimmer. All the Dark Knight Rises songs. And you have John Williams, Jurassic Park, Jerry Goldsmith for Rudy.
Mm-hmm.
He also did some of the movie scores for the movie Forever Young. I don't know if you ever watched that one with
Mel Gibson.
Yep, Mel Gibson and Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yep.
Bill Conti, can't go wrong with that one.
Yeah, Rocky.
Ray Des did Pearl Harbor's movie scores. John Williams also did some of the work for Harry Potter.
Okay.
Who else do we have? John Carpenter, Halloween, of course. Danny Elfman, we said for Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Silverstein
Mm-hmm.
was Forrest Gump, Back to the Future.
Okay.
Trevor Vivian did all the Armageddon work. What?
Do you know that Huey Lewis wrote the Back in Time? After watching, they wanted him to do a theme, and they brought him in, and they showed him clips from the movie and gave him a synopsis of the film, and he wrote Back in Time after the film had already started filming.
Interesting.
With Eric Stoltz as Marty McFly, who was then replaced by Michael J. Fox. After they filmed some scenes and they just weren't happy with his performance. And there were two different schools of thought. The director, Zemeckis, wanted Michael J. Fox, but he was having trouble freeing up from his commitments to Family Ties. And then they brought in Eric Stoltz. Eric Stoltz shot some scenes, and then the studio just said, we're not digging it. We need Michael J. Fox. And so they readjusted, and they ended up with Michael J. Fox, and the rest is history.
Interesting. I mean, well, I forget where I found it, but I actually just watched an old funny clip from the original Back to the Future movie, where in the very beginning, how he wakes up at Doc Brown's lab or whatever, and says, "I'm late to school," slams the phone down and leaves the house.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually an outtake of that scene where he runs out of the house trying to get through the gate, winds up getting stuck, rips the jacket, and can't get the gate closed, so he throws the skateboard at it and runs away. I actually thought that was a very funny outtake. Sometimes you watch some of these deleted scenes and they're actually funnier since they were deleted than they would be in the movie.
Yeah.
But you could see the aspect of which they could fit in the movie and be just as funny.
Gotcha. Yep.
Like the most famous one people always talk about, or my type of people always talk about, is the octopus scene in the Goonies.
Okay.
If you've never watched it, I would say check it out at least once. It's the most bizarre cutout scene of a movie you'll ever watch in your life.
Okay.
but people who love the movie feel that it should be in the movie. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Jack's over here saying he loves Huey Lewis in the news. I mean, he had a lot of key iconic songs for certain songs. Hip to be Squared for American Psycho. The Power of Love for the Back to the Future movies. Kenny Loggins is another one.
I actually got to meet Huey in the band.
Really?
I was working for Hollywood Video, and we were having a convention out in Las Vegas. And we were staying at the MGM Grand.
Okay.
And we had a bunch of different stars that were there and like giving speeches and stuff. And the one night we had a private concert with just the Hollywood Video group by Huey Lewis and the News. And then afterwards, a select amount of people got to actually interact with Huey and the band, and I was lucky enough to be one of those.
Wow. Doing it from, I'm guessing that's a song by Huey Lewis, Doing It For My Baby?
Yep. Where he's Frankenstein themed, actually.
Very interesting. I mean, Jack brings the music knowledge, but you were able to back him up. I appreciate that because
Yep.
I need to hear the song to understand where it comes from.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been that way.
You'd know the song if you heard it.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, as soon as I put it on, I'm like, oh, I know where the song comes from. Like one of the duh movements. So
there you go.
Well, I think it's time to wrap the show up. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I believe you are correct, sir.
But we had a good conversation tonight. We have next Friday night already planned out. We're gonna do Ron, Andrew, and John's Guilty Pleasure movie night. That should be a lot of fun. Next Monday, me and Ron will be back again, recapping a crazy NFL draft that's still going on. And the one name that really surprised me is what Detroit did in the third round.
Okay.
They wind up taking Hendon Hooker from Tennessee.
And he actually might be out for a year. He's injured right now. He may not play this coming season. But he's a good talent. And somebody, I guess they're just taking a fly.
I mean, they had Jared Goff signed for a couple more years, but who knows, Hooker could step in and take that job. So,
yeah.
Then you had his teammate, the two wide receivers from Tennessee go back-to-back.
Okay.
Joan Hyatt and Cedric Tillman, one of which went to the Giants.
Okay.
So, I mean, that'll be a fun Monday night show. We also can dive into some of the NBA playoffs because now we know the Sixers are playing Boston Celtics round 2.
Yep. And we know that the Bucks are out.
Yeah, the number 1 seed got knocked out the other night. I watched the rest of that game.
Jimmy Buckets.
I don't know if you watched any of that game or not, sir, but
I watched the highlights. I didn't see the actual game.
So you did they show the game tying bucket with like 0.2 seconds left?
Yes, they did.
How the hell do you make that shot?
Jimmy Buckets, man.
Wow, I'm sitting here on my computer talking to my friend watching that game. It's like, holy what? Wow.
Yep.
I mean, I'm happy I wasn't live on the show watching it because I would have lost my shit. I would probably had back out of the camera for a little bit, but
yep,
I was blown away.
Oh yeah, it's a great shot.
I mean, the NHL playoffs are still off and running.
Yep.
So we can putting some of that up. We got NASCAR in Dover this weekend.
There you go.
All this stuff got canceled most of the weekend already because the weather is absolutely horrible here on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so yeah, we got that. Tuesday night, we're trying to do a special Love Connection type game for entertainment night with me as the host. I think you had said that you might help host or you might actually be part of the show.
Yeah, I'm going to be one or the other.
So, I mean, if we can get Mrs. Vaughn on there, that'd be freaking just as good. So it's going to get fun. I have to sit down tomorrow night. So if you're free tomorrow night, let me know. I'll be at the bowling alley, but we can figure out like the type of questions we should ask because I figured we'll start conservatively, then get a little spicier.
I will not be available tomorrow night. I
Okay.
will. I have a Saturday night commitment.
The Saturday night karaoke, correct?
Correct.
Which one of these times I will be joining you, I promise.
Okay.
Hold me to it, please.
Okay, you got it.
Cause I need to get out of my house once in a while.
Yeah.
But so we got that Tuesday night. Stay tuned for a special announcement about Wednesday night. Thursday night next week we will have Darth back in studio as we get ready for WWE Backlash, which is next Saturday night. So we will be doing our match predictions and stuff like that for Saturday's pay per view. And then, like I had mentioned before, next Friday night you will have Mr. Ron, myself, and Andrea on the show. We're going to talk about our guilty pleasures, which I'm really looking forward to that conversation because I'm sure it's going to be fun. I mean, you got three people who know a lot about movies, Ron knowing the most, but me and Andrea, I'm sure, have just as good of a list as guilty pleasures that Ron does too.
Absolutely.
Maybe we have some similar ones.
Very possibly.
I mean, there are movies out there that people love to watch no matter what. So come back next Friday night for that one. That'll be a lot of fun. But as always, thanks Jack for popping in the chat. Gary, sorry to disappoint you. I'm happy that you have a repost from Sheldon. Hopefully we can have him join in on the conversation Monday for the NFL draft recap. I'm sure he'd be a lot of fun to talk to. Andrew popped in. Darth
and Andrea, yep.
popped in with a wise up. I didn't want to do it tonight because my throat's bothering me.
Okay.
But I will have another one very soon for him.
Got it.
That's about it. I mean,
yep. Thanks everybody for popping in. We appreciate you. And like I said, next week, everybody bring your guilty pleasure movies, your ones that you like, you watch, but you don't want to tell anybody. We'll keep your secret. Just come in and tell us about it next week.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say is another month down. I mean, next week, well, technically, Monday night, so it's May 1st. So welcome in all the new people who just recently started following the page. I mean, our follow counts are going up across the board, which I am ecstatic about. We hope more new people want to come in every single time, join the show, join the conversation, join the fun.
Absolutely.
That's what we're here for. We love interaction. Ron will tell you all the time, this show goes off you guys in the chat. So even if you just want to pop in, say hi, drop a like on the stream, share the show out, so we broaden that horizon audience-wise, it means a lot.
Absolutely does.
I mean, we have a lot of fun things coming in the near future, and the more people that want to be a part of it, the better I feel about it. I mean, I'm super stoked to keep going. I mean, we're coming up on 9 months live already, so it's quite an accomplishment, and it's only getting better. So thank you to Mr. Ron for helping out tonight. I appreciate it.
No worries. Always a fun time.
Yeah, and we will see you Monday night at 8:30 for Sports Gladiators. So, other than that,
peace.
Have a good weekend. Later.